I'm Dr. Mike Billigan. We're here at the Excellence in Dentistry meeting in Orlando, Florida, Woody Oaks' meeting. It's a wonderful meeting, so many great speakers, you can learn so much. And I've pulled aside one of the keynote speakers here, Garrett Gunderson, author of Killing Sacred Cows. Garrett, thanks so much for being with us.
It's great to be here.
And I've heard Garrett speak before, and he's just a cool customer and so much wonderful information, especially in today's financial turbulent times. He's got a little different way of thinking about things, and you really need to hear this. So, Garrett, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started and some of your philosophies and your book and where you're headed with this?
Well, when I was 15 years old, I started my first business, and with that business, I won some money. And so I won $5,000 as the State Entrepreneur of the Year as a teenager.
Great.
And
wow, that's quite a start.
Well, this will show kind of I'm a unique breed, I guess, because I thought, man, I want to invest this money.
Yeah, that's.
So I'm a teenager and I want to invest the money. Now, I wasn't fully aware. I wanted it to double like right away, right?
Yeah,
So I was a little bit kind of still get rich quick. Let's just find that magic product and that magic investment. And a lot of people are looking for that. And I got to tell you, it doesn't exist. There isn't some magic investment that just gets everyone wealthy.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. In a way, I'm glad to hear you say that right off the top, because now you're believable. Okay, so.
Right. So, I mean, you know, I had a contract with the president of the credit union to detail the vehicles that they repossessed with my car cleaning business. And so I went to him first and said, what should I do with it? And he told me to put it in a certificate of deposit. And when I figured out how long it took for a CD to double, I was not interested or impressed whatsoever. Yeah. So I just kind of went down a journey I think a lot of people go down, with a lot of misinformation, with a lot of opinions, with a lot of like conflicting information really. And I talked to my uncle because he was the wealthiest person I know. He told me to buy stock, you know, and I said, what stock? And he said, Novell. And then my aunt pulled me aside and said, he loses all his money in the stock market. I wouldn't listen to him. So I was confused, to say the least, but I kept asking questions.
Okay. As many of us are confused, especially at this time, so help us out here.
So what happened is, I over time, look, I made investments and I flat out made some mistakes because I was more looking for a return outside of my influence, outside of my passion, really outside of my control, hoping that some expert was going to take care of me. Someone was going to give me this thing that was going to earn 18% a year, and I was going to be a multimillionaire off just a little bit of money going away each month. Okay. That really doesn't happen. Yeah. You know, I mean, I've seen thousands and thousands of people, and the only person I can think of that systematically saved in their life and has millions of dollars was my junior high basketball coach, who's the most frugal person I've ever met. Okay. And he was also pretty conservative where he allocated his money. So it can happen, but for the most part, people get disappointed. They put money somewhere, they don't know where it is, they don't know what constitutes earning a rate of return, they don't know how it fits their plan, they have no idea who the manager is, they know who the salesperson is.
It's often just someone to give their money to.
But not the manager, and so what happens if the market goes up, we get lulled in to this false sense of security, this false sense of confidence, because it's like, oh, look, I made money. Right. But then when the market goes down, we get a lack of confidence, and really we don't have a lot of control over those mechanisms and what's going on. Right. And all these talking heads, look, I've been on CNBC, and when I was on Squawk on the Street, I said, the stock market's a gamble, and they about panic because for 2 hours straight they have people predicting what's going to happen, and it's almost never right. Yeah. So I personally don't have any money in the stock market because that's not my passion, although I got licensed when I was 19 years old, and I sold mutual funds, and in 98, 99 they went up, and my family thought I was pretty smart, my friends thought I was pretty smart, their parents, that was really my clientele, and then they questioned my intelligence in the year 2000. Okay. Right, because the market started to go down.
Right, exactly.
So I had to face the music, face the truth, and I went to him and said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just getting your money and I'm handing it off to someone else. Yeah. I got paid a commission, and I really don't look at it that much now. Okay. And even if I did, well, what am I going to tell you other than what my firm's saying? Asset allocate, you're in it for the long haul, dollar cost average. All these things are limited perspectives. They're myths that kind of keep people blindly putting their money aside. And so here we have dentists that have a good practice, and they're earning money, but there's this massive leak of money going from the business wealth and trying to transfer or translate that into personal wealth.
Personal wealth and a retirement, you know.
Well, less than 2% of dentists right now are able to retire. Less than 2% are the last statistics that I've seen. And the reason is financial planning is preaching financial freedom, but creating financial dependence.
Yeah, and you talk about that in your book here, and in the next video that we do, we'll really get into some of the detail on that.
Yeah, and so I love working with people to first of all say, how can you be more efficient and effective with what's already in place? Rather than saying, save more money, tighten the belt, take more risk. All those things are not fun. I wouldn't ever want to meet with a financial planner if it's just, don't enjoy life today.
Right.
You know, put it into something that you don't know if it's going to work or not,
right.
and that you don't understand. Instead, I'm saying, look, there's 7 areas where most people are leaking cash. Leaking cash. And if we can just illuminate that, shed a little light on it, become more efficient, that puts more money into someone's pocket. They could take a lot less risk to get where they want to go, and stay focused with things where they have influence, where they have passion, where they have a degree of control, rather than just handing it off to a so-called expert, which, let's face it, if we had as many experts as are purported to be, we wouldn't have the financial situation that we have.
Wealthy, wouldn't we?
Right.
And the country would be wealthy.
And if there was that magic product, we'd just dial an 800 number, we'd pick it up, or there'd be a line at some bank where we'd all buy it, and that doesn't exist. The key is that you are the asset, the individual's the asset. It's about the investor and who they are, not just the investment. So an investment could be good or bad depending on who's in it and how they understand it and how it relates to their life.
Absolutely. Same investment, 2 different people.
Yep.
Good for one, not so good for another.
So 2 more, I would say, contrarian in the past, it's becoming more widely accepted and it'll resonate.
Right.
Philosophies I have is, number 1 is cash flow over accumulation. Most investment planning and retirement planning is geared towards setting money aside, deferral, accumulation, build a nest egg.
Right.
I'm saying
pay lower taxes later, supposedly.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. It means you have less money.
Yeah.
That's no fun. Fire your guy. If they're saying, hey, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket in the future, they're admitting that they're not going to do well for you. That's not fun to be in a lower tax bracket. It means that you have less dollars. So cash flow is the key. You know, and keeping that money working and in motion and velocitizing rather than accumulating in one vehicle.
Right.
You have more predictability, you have more assets that could be built that way. And then the second thing, and this is the philosophy that seems so obvious to me but is taught so different. I believe in focus over diversification. Diversification is admission of ignorance. It's admission that they don't know what they're doing. Something might work, something might not. Let's spread it thin, and the problem is you get into more things than you can control, more things than you can understand, and I'm saying focus, and so here would be a key focus. Invest in something that you know. Invest in something that you could say, this makes sense, and then find 100 ways to protect it, collateralize it, and that's a lot of what we teach. We're really about creating that financial literacy and empowering people so that they get a true sense of what they have, and that it's combined and coordinated with the financial premise and philosophy that we help them articulate and develop. Because if you don't have a premise or philosophy, it comes from the salesperson that's in front of you.
Absolutely.
And that's where the destruction has come in. That's why so many people are dependent rather than free.
Absolutely. Well, and so a lot of this is in Killing Sacred Cows. And in the next video, I'm going to ask Garrett to go into more detail on that and on the things in the book. So Garrett, thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, great to be here.
Thank you.